Hey guys, how you doing? It's Kevtech here bringing another video on information technology. I hope you're having a good day. Happy Saturday. And today I want to go over Linux fundamentals part two. Obviously, if you're new my channel, you know what to do. Rate, comment, subscribe, give me a thumbs up. Really appreciate it. Let's go. So we're gonna go over Linux fundamentals. Penguin over here is watching me. He's watching me. He's probably like he's probably watching me, but also he's probably going to judge me a little bit because I'm using a Windows 10 machine. But yeah, it's all good. Let me share my screen and let's get started with Try Hacking Linux Fundamentals 2. So I'm going to all right. So I'm going to share my screen, share screen one. All right. So we're on Linux Fundamentals Part 2. They have a video here, so you want to watch the video and you get stuck, you can go to the video. So the video is right over here. Let's go introduction. Welcome to second part of Rework Linux Fundamental series. We'll be applying our knowledge from the first installment in this series. So I highly recommend you completed that room before proceeding further. So this is Linux Fundamentals part 1. So we did it already, so don't worry about that. In part 2, we'll be ditching in the browser functionality to help you get started in what is fundamental skills and being able to log in and control the terminals of remote machines. Not only this, but this room would also have you unlock the potential of your first few commands by introducing you to using flags and arguments, advancing your knowledge of the file system to perform some more useful commands such as copying and moving files, introducing you to access mechanisms in place to keep files and folders secure and how to identify the things that our current user has access to, running your first few scripts and executables. So this is why I have the command line running. I have a note here in case I forget a specific part of this room, because I like to keep notes just in case. And then I'm going to try to make this as super non-technical as possible so you understand what's going on. So we're on SSH. SSH is secure shell. Obviously, it says you must go over fundamentals part 1 to then start your machine. My machine's already on. I'm not gonna do anything crazy. My machine's it's on already. It's been on for a while. My IP address is up here. You can see the IP address. We're gonna use the protocol called SSH, secure shell, which means connecting to and interacting with the command line of a remote Linux machine. We'll be deploying 2 machines in this room: your Linux machine and the Try Hack Me attack box room. So what does it do? It's like a protocol between devices in encrypted form. Using cryptographically, any input we send in the human readable format is encrypted for traveling over a network, where it is then unencrypted once it reaches a remote machine, such as a diagram below. So see, this is hello world, the internet is the Linux server. You can learn about various types of encryptions on Try Hack Me, but now we only need to understand that SSH allows you to remotely execute commands on another device remotely. Any data sent between the devices encrypted when it's sent over the network, such as the internet. Deploying your machine. So I already deployed the machine. The machine is right here. You could terminate it if you want, but I did start machine. So now what they want us to do is they want us to deploy it. I deployed it already. And now they want me to go into SSH into the machine. So current credentials to validate account login with the remote machine. So they want me to log in using Try Hack Me. The password is Try Hack Me. So here we would do SSH Try Hack Me with the IP address. So I'm going to open up my screen right now, show split screen, and it's open right now. And I've been working on some stuff here. So I'm going to reclose it, close terminal. I'm going to reopen it, start from the beginning, and you see it says root 10.10 10 space 10 space 7529. So what it wants me to do is it wants me to SSH to this IP address, which is all the way up here. So we're gonna do SSH try hack me at 10.10.66.132, and then it's asking for the password. Password is try hack me, and there it is. We're logged in now. We're logged into Try Hack Me at Linux 2. So I was able to successfully log in SSH to that specific IP address. So I did that already, and it's supposed to look like that. It should look like this already. And I already went through all this, which is why it's not prompting me to say yes or anything. But you should get the screen that says yes. You say yes, and then you're now on the actual machine. So we're gonna go back to this. We're gonna go back to this one now, which is task 3, because we already completed task 2. Task 2 was to SSH. I already SSH already successfully. So let's go to task 3. Remember I talked about ls, which is to list the directory, to list the files on the folder. Remember we spoke about that earlier, right? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to drag this a little bit to the left so you could see my whole screen and my actual overlays not getting in the way. And then what we're gonna do is we're gonna make this big, but not that big, just enough so you can see it. Remember ls, this is your directory. Remember I spoke about this. So I'm gonna open up my terminal from scratch, my command prompt from scratch, and I'm gonna do cd, and I'm gonna do c, the 2 dots /users, and I'm gonna do Kevin, and then I'm gonna do documents. So now I'm on the documents folder, and I want to see what's on that document. So instead of putting ls is for Linux, we're gonna do dir. So dir allows you to actually see what's in this document. So you can see there's an MP4 file, another MP4 file. You could see there's a PowerPoint presentation. PPTX is PowerPoint presentation, or PowerPoint. This is the extension of PowerPoint. We also have another MP4 file for videos, and we have DOUX, which is docs, which is Word document. Those are your extensions for Word document. So I just wanted to show you that real quick. So this is ls, shows you a list of directories. So like if we go here and we type ls, you have important, my file, my folder, unknown, right? And if you type ls -a, it gives you all the hidden folders. So this is like hidden folders. You know how you go into your C drive, you go into view, and you do hidden items. Now all of a sudden you have a bunch of items that you've never seen in your life before. You have all these extra folders. That's basically what it is, but on the command line, if that makes sense. So I'm gonna turn that off real quick and go back to this. So yeah, and then you have your -help. So like it's like if you get stuck and you're like, man, I don't know what to do. I don't know what to type. You do -help. So here in this one, if you do ls and you do space -help, it actually gives you a list of commands you can run. So these are the commands you can run. These are the commands that are available when you run that command. So that's basically what this is. So that's what that is, and it shows you like what you could run and stuff like that, if that makes sense. So I guess the command line one would be you do cd space /?. So when you do /?, it'll tell you like, okay, so you should be able to run this command, run that command, run that command. So it gives you more information. You just press enter, and it should get you out of that screen, and you should be good after that. So this is cd, and it tells you the specific name of the current directory. That's what it's supposed to do and stuff like that. Same thing with this one. You're basically asking for help with the terminal. So now we learned about two things: ls, and we learned about -a, and then we learned about --help or -help. So if you ever need help, you just put that in the the Linux terminal, if that makes sense. So now there's something called man. It's called the manual page, and the manual page is a great source for information for both system commands and applications available on both Linux machines, which is accessible on the machine itself online. So we have this thing called man. It's going to do man ls, and then man provides command we want to read documents for. Using ls example, we use man ls to read the manual page for ls. So you list information files here, sorts alphabetically, and and that's it for that. And now we have our questions to make sure that we actually are paying attention. So explore the manual page of the command ls. I did that already, so no answer for that. What direction key would you use to navigate down the manual page? And that would be, the answer would be down. So I'm pressing down, 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 like the arrow down, down, down. And then I'm going all the way down. And it says, what flag will you use to display the output of human readable way? And I see it right here, -h. Human readable is -h. So now if I want to get out of the screen, I literally just type Q, and it should kick me out of that screen. So now I'm back on my regular terminal screen where I'm actually SSH to that specific box still, if that makes sense. So we'll go to the next ones. So now we have more commands that you may want to memorize and try to learn and try to understand. Obviously, you're not gonna know all the commands, but it's good to know. Like we're going to basics and fundamentals of Linux, right? So we cover ls, we cover find, and we cover cd. So like here are some commands you may want to be familiar with. Touch allows you to create a file. Make directory or mkdir creates a folder. And then there's copy, and then there's move, which is mv, and then there's rm remove, and then there's file. So we're going to practice this on this terminal on the right-hand side of my screen. and we're going to talk about that and talk about what it does and what are the benefits of it, if that makes sense. So here is the touch file. So we're going to do touch, note, enter, and we're going to do ls. So now we have this file called note. So we just literally just created this file. Now we want to create another file, which is called mkdir. So we're going to do mkdir, and we're going to do make directory. And then we're going to do ls again. And now we should have another folder called make directory, which is telling me, this is what we're doing right now on the screen. You can see it right here. Now, if we want to get rid of that specific folder, which, for example, note is on here, as you'll see in the list of directories, we're going to do rm, and then we're going to do note. So it should remove rm, should be able to remove note. And then if you do ls, it should be completely gone. You see in your folder directories, note is completely gone. Same could be said with removing my directory. So if you want to remove, you do rm, you do -r, and you do my directory. And if you do ls, you should no longer have my directory, and you should no longer have note. These things are gone now all of a sudden. Now we have this other thing called copy. So copy, which is called CP, copy allows you to copy it into the whole folder. So we're copying note to note 2. So if we do CP, note, and then note 2, it's not going to work because that file doesn't exist. But you could copy the folder, and you can do ls, and the folder is right there. So that's basically what it is. Well, I'm not going to do this one. Don't worry about that. But that's basically what it is. Copy is CP. So now you know what that means. And then we have this other one called MV, which is called move, and we're moving files over to a specific item or specific folder. So MV would be the command you would type in. Now, if you want to figure out determining the file type of that specific file, for example, right here, he put file note. It's ACSII text. That's what that is. So that's how this person got the answer for this question, I guess, determining the contents of the file. Hopefully that makes sense. So how would you create a file name new note? So remember, we talked about this. So touch would be to create a file, and you can just type new note here. So if we do ls, we'll have the new note right there on the list of stuff. We want to determine what is unknown. What is the, I guess, what file type is unknown. So again, just like here, you could type file, and then you could type unknown, and from unknown you type unknown1, and it will tell you as a ASCII text file. So that's how I got this answer, which is ACSII text file. Now, if you want to move this file, or if you want to move the file my file to the directory my folder, it would be MV my file my folder. So that's what this is. So the files are right there. So that's MV my file my folder. And if you want to figure out, so you have move my file my folder, right? You can move it over, right? So you could literally move it over. Now, if you want to find out what else the context of this file of the my file folder, so you're gonna do ls, right? And we have what's called my folder. So you do cat my folder, and it should, or sorry, cat my file. It should tell you what's in there, and that's how we got that THM file system. So cat actually opens it up and reads it and tells you what's in there. That's basically what the command is. And then that's it for this one. That's it for this room, for this specific task 4 task. I guess I say room task. So now we're going to go about going into task 5. And here we're going to talk about permissions 101. So ls, remember, it lists the contents of the current directory. When using ls switch, you can see 10 columns, such as the columns below. So if you do ls minus LH, I guess, and it should give you a bunch of stuff here. So we have LSLH, and then you have something called using su, which is su switching to user 2. So you can actually switch to user 2 using su. So su would be the command for user 2, and the password I believe is I believe the password is user 2. So that's what that is. And then here you have other stuff, difference between users and groups. It tells you like the difference between a user and a group. You should know the difference between that. Typically, a great thing about Linux is that permissions can be granular. That's while a user technically owns a file, if the permissions have been set, the group of the users also have either the same or different set of permissions to the exact same file while affecting the file owner itself. Let's put this into real world context. System users that run a web server must have permissions to read and write. For an effective web application, however, the companies such as web hosting companies will have to want to allow their customers to upload their own files on their website without the web server using incomprehensible security of every customer. We'll learn the commands necessary to switch between users below. So remember, SU, switching between users on Linux, the install is easy work thanks to SU. SU allows you to switch between users. So here we have SU and the SU switching over to user 2. And then you have to put in the password because you can't just log in with user 2. You have to actually drop and put the password information. And then you should be good to go after that. That's what this is. So on the deploy machine, who is the owner of important? So here would be user 2. So the owner is user 2 for this one. As you can see right here, there's try hack me. And remember, I ran that command ls -space -lh. It says who's the important owner, who's the owner of important, and important is right here. So user 2, he's the owner of important. That's how I got that answer. Now, what command would be to switch to user? Remember, we spoke about SU. So you would do SU user 2. So if I do SU user 2, and then the password would be using the password user 2. And then I logged into user 2, and then it says here you want to switch to user 2. I just did that. And then if you want to actually you want to find out what's actually in cat. So like if we do ls let's say cat, if we want to find out what's in important, so we're looking for the folder or the file important. We're trying to figure out what that is. So if you do cat, and if you do important, it will tell you thm su_user is the name. So that's how I got this flag right here, if that makes sense. So yeah, let's go into task 6. We're almost done, guys. Don't worry. Just hang in there with me. So you have etc. etc is a root directory, is one of the most important root directories in your system. etc short is a commonplace location to store system files that are used by your operating system. For example, the sudoers files highlighted in the screen below contain a list of users and groups. I have permission to run sudo or set commands as the root user. Also added below are PSS password or shadow files. These two files are special for Linux as they show how your system stores the password for each user in an encrypted format called SHA-512. So you see right here, they're doing dash etc with the actual $, and then they're doing ls. So that doesn't work for me, but that's just to show you what it is. Because I'm logged in here as user sudo 2. So if I could do su, and I should be able to do su try hack me, and then try hack me, and I'm back to try hack me now, and I should be able to do it's not gonna let me run. I have to type the whole thing. All right, so it should let me do etc $, and that doesn't work for some reason. There's nothing in there. Okay, that's fine. It's no biggie, not the end of the world. Yeah, so that's what this is. And then there's vir. Vir is for being short for variable data, is one of the main root folders found in Linux install. This folder stores data that is frequently accessed or written by services, applications running on the system. For example, log files running on services and applications are in here, and /vir/log. So we have information there. So they have var ls. It's not going to work for me. There's nothing there, which is fine. It's totally fine. Just trying it out. And then we have root. And unlike the home directory, root folder is actually in the home for root. But it's worth mentioning as the logical presumption is that the user would have their data in a directory such as home root by default. So yes, here we go. Here is here we're doing ls, and then here's the important, my file, my folder, The password is there for some reason. No bueno, that's not good. And temp is right here. So temp is root directory found on Linux install short for temporary. TMP directory is used to store data as only needed to access once or twice, similar to the memory in your computer. Useful for us in pen testing is that the end user can write to this folder by default, meaning once we have access to the machine, it serves as a good place to store things like in enumeration scripts. So this is like enumeration scripts are basically it's like you could put like scripts like store scripts in there that are like vulnerabilities like mini cats or bloodhound or something like that. So you definitely you want to be careful with scripts, you know, like you could definitely really mess somebody up with this. So that's basically what this is. So that makes sense. So here's README. We read it already. What is the directory path that would be expected logs to be? So we already had the answer right here. So if you go all the way up, it's VR log. And that's how I got that answer. And same thing with temp. What root directory is similar to how RAM on a computer works? So if you go to temp, Linux for short temporary, similar to a memory on your computer once the computer is restarted. So that's how you got temp. Here is the name of the home directory, the root, and you know it's dash root. If you go all the way up, the directory is always going to be dash root. That's how we got that answer for the system user. And then no answers required for that one. And that's it for this. This is now apply your learning and navigate through those directories on the deploy Linux. I'm not going to do that, but that's basically what it is. And then here it says, nice work. This room is quite theory heavy and covered quite a range of fundamentals in getting you familiar with Linux. To really recap, this room taught you how to connect to a Linux machine using SSH, which is what we did. Yes. Advanced use commands by providing flags, switches, where you can learn about these for each command. Some more commands you frequently be using to interact with file systems and contents, a brief introduction to file permissions and switching users, a summary paragraph of important root directions on Ubuntu Linux install and how we may be able to store them on these within these. I encourage you to go through this room again, once again, or twice again to gain some more familiarity with concepts. After all, practice makes perfect. And I'm going to fill anything out here. And this is where it says like visit part 3 of Linux fundamentals, terminate the machine. So this wants me to terminate the machine, which is I have just terminated the machine. So I did that already. And then join Linux fundamentals 3. So I'm going to click on that and I'm done with this room. And then that's it for me. So I'm going to stop sharing. So that's it for me. Hopefully that makes sense. So we did ls, which is list of the directory. We have mv, which moves the files over. We have mkdir, which makes a directory. We have a lot of different types of commands you can run. So if you're doing this room with me, I suggest you go over it a couple of times just so you understand what's going on. Hopefully this video makes sense. Hopefully you understand what I'm doing. With that being said, I hope you have a wonderful day. And yeah, until next time, peace. Later. Bye.